What the hell I'm going to buy now with the euro so low and the dollar so high? I'm going to tell you. Stay tuned. So on today's video, I'm going to explain you what stocks you should buy with this situation, with the euro so high, low and the dollar so high. I can't get this right. Anyway, and we're going to have a look into the best stocks for this week, which is going to be only two. We're going to do some market analysis and as well what's going to happen for the Bitcoin and the SP500 for the next week. So what's happening now? It's the dollar. It's the same price of the euro, and this gives us some opportunities in order to sell some stocks that went high quite a lot in the SP500. Like for example, Torm. That was one of the stocks that was bought by another company, which had an increase of 19%, and I managed to sell that in order to invest in European stocks. So one of the strategies now is, since the euro is so low, the best option is to buy some European stocks instead of American stocks, because American stocks for us Europeans are quite expensive, and the transaction we're going to lose a lot of money there. And for the Americans is quite cheap buying now, not only because the market went down, but also the stocks are quite cheap because of the euro are quite low and the dollar are quite high. So one of the things that I did went to the European stock exchanges and check in each stock exchange what was the stock that had the most or higher market cap with best performance, and in the overall this was what I got from the several stocks exchange. So the first ticker is ASML in Netherlands, ASML capital. They are undervalued in 40.1%. The future growth is going to be 20.9%, which is quite good. In terms of financial health, they have a 5 of 6. In terms of dividends, they don't pay a lot, and bear in mind that most of the European stocks only pays one time per year or twice per year, or biannually or annually. In the exceptions, for some British stocks, they pay quarterly or biannually. So, for example, I do recall Legion pays biannually, and British Tobacco and also BP pays quarterly. So this is a company in the semiconductors sector. So the next ticker is going to be OR.PA. It means that it's on the Paris Stock Exchange. So it means that it's in the French Stock Exchange. They are undervalued only in 2.3%. Is not great, but they have a future growth of 6.9, which is interesting, and the financial health is 4 of 6. In terms of dividends, they pay only 1.4%. This is a stock on the sector of household. The next ticker, it's a Spanish ticker. It's a ETX.MC, which means it's in the Madrid Stock Exchange. Industria del Diseño Textil. It's a company that owns brands like Zara and Bershka, I think, and other retail. They are quite big in Europe, and they are undervalued in 32.8%, with a future growth of 6.9%. And the financial health is a 6 of 6, which is quite great. And they pay dividend yield of 4.15%, which is quite interesting for this type of industry. The next ticker is TTEPA. It's again in the Paris Stock Exchange. Is the Total Energies is one of the biggest in Europe in terms of petroleum. The same thing as British Petroleum. They are quite big. They are undervalued in 30%. The future growth is going to be negative. This is due to the war that we have with Ukraine. Europe is being quite affected, and probably they see a decrease here. I don't know in terms of gas what is the percentage of gas that they import actually from Russia, but now it's gone, so probably the future growth is already impacted here with a minus 16%. The financial health is great. It's a 6 of 6. And pay dividends, I think it's biannually, of 5.47%, and they are in the sector of energy. The next ticker is SAN, PA, Sanofi. They are a pharmaceutical company which are undervalued in 65.5%. They have a future growth of 10.4%, and the financial health is a 6 of 6, which is quite good. And the pay dividend yield of 4.8%, which is quite interesting for a European, especially on the pharmaceutical area. Although we have GlaxoSmithKline, they pay quarterly, and I do think Sanofi only pay biannually. But for example, I do have GlaxoSmithKline.L or GSK.L, the ticker, which pays higher dividend yields. I think it's actually quite similar. It's 5% or 4%, but they pay quarterly, and this one only pays biannual. The next one is a quite well-known company for me, which I've worked with this company before, which is SAP.ai. This is in the German stock exchange. SAP is one of the biggest companies of software in terms of ERPs, and the big competitor with Microsoft. They also have some kind of competitor as well with Salesforce, CRM. Behind them are Microsoft and Oracle in this type of software niche. So they are undervalued in 68.2%. The future growth is 23.1%, and the future health is a 5 of 6. The dividends is a 2.29%, and this is in a software, as I mentioned before, it's a software sector. And also they only pay annually. The next ticker, ABI.BR, so this is in the Brussels Stock Exchange. Hanser-Bosch InBev, I'm butchering the name. They are undervalued in 60.6%. They have a future growth of 17.8%, and the financial health is 6 of 6. In terms of dividends, they pay 1% of dividends, and this is in the sector of beverage. They have quite big brands in their portfolio. I don't know them by heart, but anyway, the dividend yield is only paid annually. The next ticker, it's DTE.de, again one of the tickers in the German stock exchange. Deutsche Telekom AG, so they are undervalued in 87.4%. The future growth is 13.1%, and the financial health is not so great. It's a 2 of 6, and the dividend yield is 3.35%, which is also annually, I believe. And they are in the sector of telecom. So, but this is quite big in German. And also they have spread around the rest of the Europe, Spain, Portugal, Ireland, UK, France, etc. Another company in the German stock exchange, which is quite well known, Volkswagen AG, so with the ticker VOW3.de. So they are undervalued in 52.8%. The future growth we have a 3%, but I do believe this may increase in the future if you're going to have a market price, which I think we are not still in that point. Probably is going to fall a little bit more. This company will be affected because we'll be selling less cars, although they have already the ID3, ID4, and ID5, which is quite interesting EVs, and is getting a lot of market cap comparing with other EV companies. I do think this may grow, but it's going to depend on what's going to happen in the next upcoming months to the markets. In terms of the financial health, the 4 of 6, and the ex-dividend is only to be 1.17%, and as well it's going to be annually. The next ticker is going to be SIE.de. It's one of the companies as well on the German stock exchange. The company is Siemens Aktiengesellschaft, means that is a public company. They are undervalued in 51.8%. They have a future growth of 22.2%, and the financial health is going to be a 4 of 6. They have a capital goods, but this company are being providing as well batteries for the EV, and they have a quite strong connection with the Volkswagen Group, where they are providing packs of batteries for the cars. They have a dividend yield of 3.92%, and they as well pay biannually as the most of the companies. So this is my top 10 choice with the highest market cap on the European stock exchange. So for us Europeans, we could buy the stocks anyway because it's going to be the same price, but there's going to be a more advantage and a leverage. Basically, you guys are buying with leverage because of the price of dollar, which is quite high, and this is a good opportunity to get in these European stocks, where you're going to buy more cheaper than if you than before. And as I mentioned, one of the things that I've done was sell some of the American stocks like Store and Com, which had a small increase, and I managed to sell them with profits. And I bought some European stocks. In this case, I didn't invest on any of those because I already have a few European stocks on my portfolio, mainly UK stocks. Bear in mind that UK stocks also don't pay any kind of tax, so the money that you receive from the dividends, it's straight. In this other stock exchange, you're probably going to pay around 1% or 2% or 3%, depending on the stock exchange that you're buying from. Sorry, 30% or 15%, depending on the stock exchange, not the 3%, 30, on the dividends that you're going to receive from that company. Anyway, this is just a look. The stocks that I have on my portfolio at the moment, European, are GlaxoSmithKline, BP, British Petroleum, AIG, which don't pay any dividends, and Legion, which is an insurance company, quite big insurance company in the UK and in Ireland, and for that reason, because they pay quarterly, these stocks only pay biannually. It's not on my watch list, although it would be a really good thing because we have stocks here that are really undervalued, like for example SAP with 68% of undervalued. We have Deutsche Telekom with 87% undervalued, so with a future growth of 13%. So this could be a really interesting stock to invest in as a growth stock, and this 3%, it's a plus in this case as a dividend. But we have others here on our list that could be quite interesting, which they are undervalued more than 15% and have a future growth of around 10 or 5%. So this is just a list that I gather for you guys, so have a look to see which stock in Europe could be interesting to invest, since the your coin are so strong. In this case, the dollar is so strong. So now let's have a look into the stocks for this week. The best stocks for this week is going to be PBA, Pembina Pipeline Corp. It's a company that I've been talking a while in my actually every single month almost, because this is a monthly stock. So they are still undervalued 20.2%. So the ex-dividend is going to be the 22nd of September. The financial health is 3 of 6. We have a market sentiment overbuy and a future growth of 4.4%. The past performance was at 8.1%, which is quite bad, but since it's in oil and gas industry, the energy went up quite a lot, although in the graph we won't see that. But they are still going to grow because Europe is starting to import more gas from America and other regions. Anyway, this is a really interesting dividend stock because we are still undervalued in 20%. We have a future growth of 4%, which is not great, but it's good. At least it's not negative. And they pay monthly with a dividend of 5.56%. That's why I still have in my portfolio. Yeah, the ticker is a new ticker that I just found. It's AI Joy Inc. So they are a company in the sector of media. What they have apps like WhatsApp, similar to WhatsApp. They are quite strong in Japan, in other regions, also in the United States, and they are growing exponentially. So they pay quarterly April, June, September, and December. Although I do have here some reservations because they only started to pay from last year. It's not clear that they're going to pay this year. Anyway, this could be, if we're not going for the dividend, we could go as a future or a growth stock for two reasons. Because they are undervalued 70.8%. The ex-dividend date is going to be on the 21st of September. Their financial health is 5 of 6. In terms of assets, they are around 6 billion. In terms of liabilities, around 3 billion. And the only thing here is the reduction debt that are being struggling with that. Although we have a market sentiment overbuy and a future growth of 86.2%, which is quite interesting. I didn't saw a stock with a so big future growth as this one. Although the past performance was 39.3%, was quite negative. Let's see what we're going to have on the next one. But anyway, this could be a quite interesting stock, not only for the dividend yield, but also as a growth stock. So in terms of the overall market, we still continue in a downtrend, although the SP500 and the Nasdaq, we see some of the stocks are underbought. So we have here a quite interesting opportunity because we could buy really cheap stocks at the moment in the Nasdaq, like for example Microsoft, Apple's, and the FANGs that are now cheap. In terms of the sectors, we still continue a downtrend, all of them quite negative with 1% overall, where the energy sector was more affected with a 3.46% from any other company, from any other sector. Although bear in mind, these companies are being quite expensive at the moment to buy or to invest in any energy sector will be quite costly for us. The only opportunity here that I can see it's the semiconductors, but there are some news that are not quite interesting, which we're going to see on the heat map. So one of the reasons why the semiconductors went quite low this week is because of the news that came out. So some of the partners of Nvidia just simply cut the production of any graphic card. The graphic cards went quite down. This is due also a combination of two factors, that Ethereum is going to be converted from proof of work into proof of stake, and this basically fed up the market with graphic cards now available for everyone to buy, because the Ethereum is no longer being mined. One more company, it's Intel, that mentioned that's going to stop, or at least there's some rumors that they're going to stop completely the development of new graphic cards. So this is still a rumor, we still don't know, but this affected the stocks of Intel. In the overall, we still have a negative impact, but we see here Meta with minus 11%, Microsoft and Google with minus 6%, Nvidia with quite with 9%, but this is understandable, having in consideration the news that came out. So in the overall, we have a quite negative with Amazon with minus 6% overall. It's quite negative. Let's see what's this going to happen for the next week. I do think probably in the next week we may see some positive because this went down quite a lot. Okay, now let's have a look into what's going to happen to the markets this week. In terms of the SP500, we're still going to continue to see here a trend following this support line. The moving average is still following this line, although we have here a break on the support. So, and let's hope that this week the market's going to follow this support line, although we have here the MACD still in a negative trend, as we've seen here since the beginning. We have here a shift and still continue this negative trend. Let's see if the MACD, the signal line, will shift, and then we start to have a positive week. Hope this Monday will be positive. Let's see what's going to happen in the next Monday, Tuesday, if you're going to end the month with a positive trend. In terms of the Bitcoin, we still are having here a support around the 9,500. We still see here continued this average trend, although there was a big shift on the market during the weekend due to Ethereum no longer being a proof of work and start to be a proof of stake. In this case, there was a big sale on the Ethereum coin, and this affected as well the Bitcoin. They went down a bit, but still above the support line. That's what interesting here. So anyway, we're building here a really good consolidation. Let's hope that this is going to be the next positive trend. In terms of the MACD, we had here a positive trend at the beginning, and now we're going to have a negative trend, but hoping that this won't fall under the support, the 9,500. So I do believe that we're going to repeat the same thing here, but in inverse way as we had the past week. So probably a negative Monday, Tuesday, and then a positive towards the end of the week. I hope you enjoyed the tips for this week. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the like. That will help me with the YouTube algorithm. And also, if you want to follow me, don't forget to follow me on Twitter and on the eToro. where I usually post news about daily stocks where it's interesting for you to follow. But for that, you need to follow me on eToro. Once again, guys, thank you, cheers, and have a nice week.